I'm warning you now, this rant has got spoilers for Ultimate Spider-Man issues 1 to 6, so if you've not read them, don't blame me for ruining them for you. And if you have read them, what's been your favourite issue so far? Mine's probably the one where they thought Bullseye thought the action was great. So, we've got to the end of the first arc of Ultimate Spider-Man 2024, and I have been really enjoying it so far. Mostly because of the new twists it's given us on the characters, like Peter being a father, the heroic Green Goblin, or Uncle Ben still being alive. But we're only 6 issues deep so far, and the story still has a ways to go, and I thought it would be fun to speculate on what's yet to come. I want to share some predictions I've made, some ideas I think would be interesting for the book to do. And maybe in about 4 years' time I can look back on this video and be astounded at just how wrong I was. Let's start with Peter's partner in crime fighting, the Green Goblin. I'm sure we can all sense that Harry Osborn's Green Goblin's more of a hardcore vigilante than a superhero, more of a Punisher type, and it's making Spidey uncomfortable. He's already tried to kill the Kingpin several times and tortured Bullseye for information. He's more angry back alley than friendly neighbourhood. Goblin wants revenge more than justice, and to me, he seems the type who'll fight the big villain, but would ignore the smaller stuff. The burglars and the purse snatchers would be under Goblin's radar, while Spider-Man would prioritise the innocents, and I think this will end up being Goblin's undoing. I think Harry's going to have an Uncle Ben moment. I think he's going to ignore a small-time criminal, and that criminal's going to go on to murder or seriously harm his wife, Gwen. If she did die, this would run parallel to 616, where once again, the Green Goblin's gotten Gwen killed. But that'd be a bit of a waste to the Gwen character. Maybe she's either crippled, or maybe she learns that her husband didn't do anything to stop her attacker and leaves him for it. And this Uncle Ben moment is either going to make Harry realise he needs to use his abilities for others before himself, or it's going to push him right over the edge into villainy. Either way, I think Goblin's inaction's going to bite him later on. Next, let's have a look at the upcoming villains. So from teasers and previews, we know that the ultimate Sinister Six is composed of Wilson Fisk, Mysterio, Kraven, Mr. Negative, Black Cat, and the Mole Man. Proper weird mix of characters if I'm honest, but the point of Ultimate is to be fresh, isn't it? I think that Fisk's plan for the Six is to make supers look bad. To be like a public smear campaign against all the new superheroes suddenly popping up. Fisk controls the bugle, so using his own crew of masked villains to blare the lines of good and evil to the civilians sounds manageable. When it comes to the rest of the Six, they must all have like a specific role in the crew because it's just too weird of a union, you know what I mean? Mysterio is a master at making people believe what he wants them to, so his illusions and lies could cause the public to turn on Spidey quite easily. Kraven's job could be to hunt down the true identities of Spider-Man and the Goblin. Black Cat is a master thief, so maybe his job's to steal the hero's gear once the names are known and leave them defenseless. Maybe his job's to steal back some of the origins that the Ultimate stole from the Maker. I'm calling it right now though, I think Black Cat is a double agent. Mr. Negative, I suppose he could be using his power to coax out the negative emotions of the people, tricking them into hating Spider-Man and the Ultimates that much easier. Unless he's just there as muscle. And Mole Man. He's usually a Fantastic Four villain, but this world has no Fantastic Four, so whatever his deal is, I have no clue. I will say though, if he's anything like mainline Mole Man, this dude's way too powerful to be in Wilson Fisk's Sinister Six. Either way, I do really doubt that this team's been put together for the sole purpose of killing the heroes. There's gotta be a bigger picture for such a weirdly cobbled together gang. And where is my shocker? Now what about the other new heroes in the world? The Ultimates? A funny theory that I saw online was that Iron Lad and his crew only have the catalysts for superpower origins, with no way of knowing if it causes hero or villain. Clearly they don't know as much as they think they do, because the guy Shocker stole his gauntlets from was already dead. And in Ultimates issue 1 you find out most of the people they did already give powers to ended up accidentally committing suicide by superpower. So the idea that Tony and Reed and Captain America are dropping power-ups for future bad guys is too funny for me to not mention. And lastly, let's look at Peter's family. Now that the Parkers all know that the Patriarch is Spider-Man, I'm expecting a bigger role for them. MJ seems okay with Pete's new hobby, and I do hope she continues supporting him. I reckon she's going to team up with Gwen for the public relations business. That way they can support each other through the husband's dangerous new lifestyles. Regarding the kids, I can't get a read on Peter's son Richard, mostly because he's barely been in the book, but regarding his daughter May, I reckon she's going to accidentally reveal her dad's secret to the wrong person. Look here how she accidentally blew it to MJ, the girl can't help herself. Maybe a villain attacks a school and she threatens him with Spider-Man accidentally revealing a connection. The only family member not in the know is Uncle Ben, and I think a fun twist would be if Ben was the Jonah Jameson of this universe, bad-mouthing Spider-Man for vigilantism and wearing a mask. Meanwhile, Jonah himself could be more supportive of Spidey. Seeing as Ben motivates Peter in every other universe, him treating Spider-Man as a menace would sting, and it'd motivate Peter to keep trying to earn his uncle's approval. And that's my predictions for the best Spidey book in years. If you yourself have any ideas on what might happen next, let me know because I'm very curious. Even though not a lot has really happened in the 6 issues we've got, every single one of them has been vital for world building. And now that Spidey's had his first taste of the evil he's facing, it's about to kick off. Whether I'm right about any of this or not, I'm defo looking forward to more Ultimate Spider-Man.